Part 73. My evil Imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 721. Loom Wan cracked the 10th floor of the formation tower and the prohibition circle bit by bit, comprehending what was demonstrated on the video. Time passed by a little bit, and in her judgment, about 100 years later, she finished cracking the last aperture. Boom! As soon as she walked out of the last aperture, a colored beam of light suddenly enveloped the formation tower in the sky. One after another, colorful stars penetrated into Loom Wan's body. She closed her eyes and immersed herself in a sea of elements. When she woke up again, about 10 years later, she felt that the strength of her whole body had not changed, but half of the colorful energy floated on the other side of the green mist of Danshan. The fire attribute elemental force and the earth element elemental force also broke through from Danshan to the perfect state in one fell swoop. After Loom Wan rested for a while, she went to the talisman tower after leaving the formation pagoda. There is a big connection between the formation and the talisman. To portray a high-grade talisman requires a lot of formations and forbidden construction frameworks, which originate from the same ancestry. She actually broke through to the 10th floor in one fell swoop and was rewarded by the formation tower. The first person in 10,000 years, the leader of the formation tower couldn't help but sigh. Others were also quite surprised. Those who once entered the 10th floor were considered super geniuses if they could get past half of it. They didn't know how to describe it like this. Loom Wan quickly realized the 8th floor after entering the talisman tower. Time passed, and 100 years later, she successfully broke through the 10th floor and was baptized by the ocean of elements again. The water attribute elemental force and the wind element elemental force have also broken through from Danshan to the perfect state. Then she went to the Dan Pagoda again, and it took about the same time to break through the 10th floor, and the wood attribute energy broke through to the perfect state. When she stepped into the refining tower, there were not many other disciples left in the 5 towers in the space, and they were all people who had broken through to the 9th floor and were still comprehending. In the refining tower, Mu Yan stayed twice as long as the other 3 towers, and he still broke through the 10th floor. She finally entered the Beast Tamer Pagoda Master, and all the disciples had already left the barrier. In fact, her research on beast control is not deep. After all, her ancient contract art is more advanced. It was also that she had cultivated the ancient contract technique to the end, and after entering the beast control tower, she was extremely relaxed. After reaching the 8th floor, ferocious or cunning monsters will appear at intervals in front of her, and she needs to successfully contract one by one to pass the test. Of course, the contract is only a test, and will not bring these spiritual pets to the outside world. The speed of Loom Wan's contract was very fast. She used the animal control technique that was integrated with the ancient contract technique. Although he took advantage of the loopholes, he still got the same reward, and the ice attribute also successfully reached the perfect state. After all the 8 UN force attributes had broken through to the perfect state, she felt that she could vaguely touch the threshold of the realm. Oh my god! This girl is definitely the most powerful person since the Comprehension Tower appeared. The leader of the Formation Alliance couldn't help but exclaimed. This kind of talent is hard to find for thousands of years. Not only the 5 specializations, but they all broke through the last floor of the Comprehension Tower to get the last elemental perception reward. The tower owner of Danta's side, she definitely has the hope of becoming the legendary 5 level 10 rank magician. That plan can be implemented. The eyes of the ancestors of the mercenary union were full of light. Loom Wan is now a piece of rough jade. As long as it is polished well, in the future it will definitely be a beautiful piece of jade that will shock the entire Guangling world. Well, when Loom Wan goes back, bring her to meet us. The ancestor of the Formation Alliance looked at President Wu and said. Yes, President Wu restrained the shock in his eyes. Loom Wan walked out of the beast control tower, and the UN force she had accumulated in her body to suppress already felt like she had to break through. After she stepped out of the space barrier of the 5 towers, she saw several deputy hall masters present looking at her with terrifying and shocking eyes. She guessed that these people should know that they broke through the 10th floor of the 5 towers. She guessed right. In fact, it is not only the top leaders of the 5 major forces who are watching the situation in the Comprehension Tower. The deputy hall masters of the team are also using the crystal ball to check. After all, they are afraid that something will happen. It's just that they didn't expect that their hearts would continue to shrink from the moment Lum Wan entered the Tower of Comprehension. It was the first time they were so stimulated. In the end, the deputy hall masters of the mercenary trade union were cast envious glances by the deputy hall masters of the other 4 major forces. You must know that the level that the Comprehension Tower steps into generally also represents that person's future achievements in magic. With her current age and cultivation, Lum Wan can break through the 10th floor of the 5 Comprehension Towers, which may also mean that she may step into the 10th grade in all 5 spells in the future. However, the 5 of them tacitly kept this matter as a secret in their hearts. Otherwise, if Lum Wan's achievements were known to other outside forces with impure minds, it might not be a good thing. She is still too young, and her cultivation base is considered a genius at this age, but it is still easy for high-level powerhouses to secretly strangle her in the bud of development. Lum Wan was the last one to come out, more than a month later than the others. Although the other disciples did not know her achievements in the Comprehension Tower, they still looked at her with curiosity and complexity. Okay, Lum Wan of the Mercenary Union has come out, and this trip to the Comprehension Tower is over. It is not allowed to reveal a single point about what has happened in the past half a year. After you go back, you will have a good understanding of what you have gained in the Comprehension Pagoda. The white-clothed old man in the Den Pagoda returned to calm, and gave a faint order to a kind of disciple. Yes. Lum Wan and other 16 people also went back with Deputy Hall Master Wan. Although the other disciples were more curious about how far Lum Wan had reached in the Comprehension Tower, they were not easy to ask. Along the way, everyone repeatedly recalled the insights in the Comprehension Tower in order to seek breakthroughs. As soon as Lum Wan got on Jinpeng Big Bird's body, she couldn't suppress the spiritual power, so she sat in a corner and began to attack the Tianyuan realm. Such a move also made the other disciples startled. It was the first time they saw someone advance and make a breakthrough in front of so many people. Vice Palace Master Wan also showed surprise, but thinking of Lum Wan's amazing achievements in the Comprehension Tower, she also guessed that she might be unable to suppress her realm. So he waved his hand, and a defensive magic weapon that isolated the breath fell on top of Lum Wan's head, and the defensive power spread far and wide, just to let her advance safely. Based on Lum Wan's performance in the Comprehension Tower, he was definitely the target of super key training after returning. He didn't dare to let her make any mistakes on the way back. My evil imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant. Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 722. Lum Wan's impact on the Tianyuan realm was very loud. Even if there was a defensive artifact of the Wan Palace Master, the surge of spiritual power was still too fierce, causing a lot of movement. Go to a safe place and let her advance first. Wan Hall Master found that there were actually colorful spiritual clouds gathered in the sky, so he ordered the Daypen under his feet. Soon, the golden Daypen landed on a desolate hill, and the other disciples jumped off the Daypen and stared at Lum Wan to advance. The aura around her kept pouring into her body, and her body was absorbing like a bottomless pit. A large number of colorful spiritual clouds gathered in the sky, and the spiritual power lightning fell one after another to quench her body again. Such a promotion method also surprised the people present. They found that Lum Wan's skin at this time was lingering with a layer of jade color, which was extremely hard. What a strong body, she is still a body repairer. One person couldn't help but sigh. I don't know how she performed in the Comprehension Tower this time. The last one that came out must not be too low. I guess she should have 1 or 2 comprehension towers on the 9th floor. Vice Hall Master Wan attaches great importance to her attitude, and her performance this time must be very good. The core disciples present were all within 50 years of age, and all had high mentality, and they held a friendly attitude towards Lum Wan in their hearts. It's not just a friendship, but also because Lum Wan's potential is worthy of their friendship. Just based on the 8th grade spirit gathering formation she revealed, none of the core disciples were not interested in her formation. Lum Wan's promotion took 3 days to complete. Due to the strong backlog of spiritual power and his thorough understanding in the comprehension tower, he jumped 1 level in a row, not only breaking through to the Tianyuan realm, but also advancing to the midterm. In fact, she also suppressed a part of the power, otherwise it would be possible to use this to attack the late Tianyuan realm. One is that she doesn't want to be too public, and the other is that she hopes to lay a solid foundation step by step. However, she didn't take it seriously, but everyone, including Hall Master Wan, was stunned. It was the first time they saw someone who was promoted to the Tianyuan realm and jumped 2 levels in a row, and jumped directly from the initial stage to the middle stage, so that the cultivation talent and her magic talent were very abnormal. Lum Wan had always known that Hall Master Wan asked Dapen to find this place for her to break through, and the other disciples did not show much dissatisfaction, and reaffirmed her decision to choose a mercenary union in her heart. She got up and smiled apologetically to the Hall Master Wan and the core disciples present. The Hall Master Wan, brothers and sisters, I'm sorry for making you wait for a long time. Haha, it's okay. The Hall Master looked happy and said with a big smile, it's not bad to witness a genius like you in my lifetime, and we'll be happy to wait a few more days. He himself is a fusion realm cultivation base and has lived for thousands of years, but this is the first time he has seen a genius who can even jump to the Tianyuan realm. In addition, he understands the performance of Lum Wan in the tower. Equal status. As long as Lum Wan does not fall, it will be a sure thing to become at least a 9th rank 5 skill mage in the future, and he is likely to ask her for it. So she was very friendly. Palace Master Wan said that the process of the junior sister's promotion has also benefited me a lot, and it's okay to wait for a while. Others have also conveyed their kindness to her, so it is impossible for them to offend or hold grudges on the face of geniuses who have been trained by the trade union. What's more, Lum Wan's promotion process did bring them a lot of excitement and a new feeling. It's not a lie, they really benefited a lot in the past 3 days. Palace Master Wan and the senior brothers and sisters praised him. Lum Wan smiled humbly. Okay, Lu girl has been promoted, let's continue on our way. Wan Hall smiled and let the crowd go up to Dapen. The president had sent a summons to inquire before, and it was self-evident that he attached great importance to Lum Wan, so he had better hurry back. The group continued to fly after getting on the Dapen, when they reached the top of a dense forest. Suddenly, a wave of coercion spread out and enveloped the group. The face of the Hall Master changed, and it was obvious that he had been in ambush for a long time. Then everyone saw more than a dozen black-clothed men appearing in midair, and the 2 of them were all in the fusion realm. Leaving the space ring may spare your life. If you don't know how to lift it, you will only have to die. A black-clothed masked man in the fusion realm said with a smile. The Hall Master Wan said coldly with a stern face, we are members of the mercenary union, you must have made a mistake. What about the people in the mercenary union? Are we still afraid? Another masked man sneered, the people in the mercenary union are richer than other small fish and shrimps. It seems that this time we have made money. The disciples of the mercenary union took out their magical instruments and prepared for battle. Lum Wan frowned slightly. She found that the dozen or so people on the opposite side carried a familiar aura, but it was indeed the first time they met. They are all demons. Jun Luokan's voice sounded in her sea of consciousness. She squinted, it seemed that these people were sent by the Great Saint or the 3 Saints, and it was possible that Shen Mufeng was there. Before she participated in the alchemy competition in Bezhu, she was constantly pursued by assassins in the dark market. Ming Xiu found out that the great saint went to the dark market to make an offer to buy her life, but it was later cancelled for unknown reasons. She guessed that the one who gave up the mission should not be the great saint, but she couldn't figure out why the dark market gave up the mission. "They should be coming at me," Lum Weian's voice was transmitted calmly. "Obviously, they just used robbery to cover up the identity of the demon race. After all, once they are discovered, the powerhouses in the human domain will definitely take action against them," Jun Luoqin replied. Lum Weian's lips showed a sneering look. "They really look down on me. They dispatched 2 Fusion Realm and 17 late Tianyuan Realm, peak Cultivation Realm demons. The main people who the 2 demons in the Fusion Realm will deal with should be the Master of the Hall. As long as you solve the more than 10 demons in the Tianyuan Realm, they will naturally retreat," Jun Luoqin said lightly. Lum Weian replied, "It's been a long time since I moved my muscles and bones. I just happened to use them to try to break through to the Tianyuan Realm." Hall Master Wan negotiated with the 2, but obviously to no avail. "Kill them all, leave none of them," a masked man in black ordered. "Yes." So more than a dozen people quickly surrounded Lum Weian and his party. Hall Master Wan has lived for so many years and is also a human being. Naturally, it can be seen that these people are not good people. They are definitely not real robbers. They may be aimed at the core disciples of the mercenary trade union. I'll deal with those 2 people in the Fusion Realm. You hold the more than 10 people in the Tianyuan Realm, kill them if you can, don't be merciful," the Hall Master instructed the disciples. Yes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My evil imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant. Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 723. The 2 demons in the Fusion Realm were both in the early stage of cultivation, and the Master of the Hall was also in the initial stage of fusion, but half of them stepped into the middle realm, so the 2 could only restrain him and let the other Tianyuan Realm demons behead Lum Weian and others. The 17 demons from the Tianyuan Realm did not fight separately, but immediately formed a humanoid formation that could move and change. Everyone holds a dark long stick magic weapon in their hands, which is amazingly powerful. The opponent's strength is strong, but the core disciples of the mercenary union who can get the comprehension tower are the best among geniuses. Although they are at a disadvantage in the opponent's humanoid formation, no one was injured or killed. Lum Weian didn't immediately participate in the battle at the beginning. Seeing that the opponent used a long stick magic weapon to set up a humanoid formation, she narrowed her eyes and took out a set of formation tools and a natal array, and began to arrange an 8th rank attack formation. This array was made for her by Ming Xiu when she had not yet been promoted to the 8th rank item refiner. Her current mental power and formation skills are much stronger than before she entered the comprehension tower, and it took less than a stick of incense to construct the formation. At this time, the core disciples who were battling against the demons from the heavenly origin realm began to feel the difficulty gradually. Boom! Suddenly, a few rumbling sounds fell, and the Tianyuan realm powerhouses of the demon race were all enveloped by a scarlet halo. Lum Weian sacrificed the flag of the birth formation, meditated silently in his mouth, and his hands were constantly forming seals. Kill, then she snorted softly. As soon as her voice fell, the formation started immediately. One after another red light flew out from the formation, and each red light was comparable to the full-strength sword of a swordsman in the late Tianyuan realm. Form a formation. Feeling the power of the formation, the leader of the demon race Tianyuanjing sword master hurriedly shouted. The long sticks in the hands of the 17 demon powerhouses suddenly became larger, densely intersecting and turning into a dark shield, covering them all. Countless streaks of red light fell on the dark shield and gradually disintegrated, without breaking open immediately. Lum Wan sneered, his mind moved, and a golden longsword flew out, instantly transformed into more than 30 small swords, with a fiery metallic elemental force and the second wave of red light of the formation falling together. The small golden swords kept bombarding, and the red sword light kept flying from every tricky angle. Boom! In just a few breaths of time, countless cracks appeared on the seemingly indestructible dark shield, which quickly shattered into half. The dark long stick was broken into several pieces, lost its spirituality and fell to the ground. The dozen or so demons were terrified and were about to fight tenaciously, but they were all killed by the third wave of sword energy inspired by the formation in just one round. A golden vine flew out from Wan's ankle on the ground floor, and instantly wrapped the 17 Tianyuan realm powerhouses into the bell space for digestion. It only took less than a stick of incense from Lum Wan's formation to the end of the battle. Not only the core disciples of the mercenary union were stunned by this battle, but also the mansion master and the two demons. The fusion realm powerhouse did not expect surprises. Lum Wan found that the two demons looked at her with infinite killing intent. One of them dodged and fell next to the two, with a faint jade color covering their hands. She volleyed her fist in the air, and the formation followed, and countless red lights stabbed at the two of them. Looking for death, one of the demons in the fusion realm shouted, and slapped it with a slap, and the red sword light instantly collapsed and disappeared. Lum Wan's eyes were full of fighting spirit, and she attacked at close range. The slap from the other side only made her take 3 steps back. She slammed down the man with punches, the formation speeded up, and waves of red sword energy erupted recklessly, and the power was stronger than wave after wave. What a strong body, the man exclaimed when he saw that his slap only made Lum Wan take 3 steps back without damage. Feeling the waves of sword chi attacking, and there was a chilling sword intent, both of them felt a hint of danger. Retreat, the masked man in the lead gave the other a look. Palace Master Wan, you and I joined forces to kill them. Lum Wan looked at the two who were about to flee with cold eyes. She rarely takes the initiative to cause trouble, but she will not be merciful to those who want to kill her. Palace Master Wan didn't expect Lum Wan's strength to be so powerful, and he was also willing to sell her a favor. Okay, you just need to hold on to one person, and I'll kill her. But you have to be careful, it's nothing to kill, your safety is the most important. Lum Wan kept changing and condensing the seal on his hand, and the formation in mid-air instantly turned into more than a dozen fire dragons, blocking them in front of the two. She hid in the formation, slammed her fists out, and her figure turned into after images. A demon in the fusion realm was actually forced to be embarrassed by him. Although the 8th rank formation cannot completely kill a strong person in the fusion realm, it can trap people and seriously injure them. Lum Wan's formation skills are very strong, and she is fully integrated into the formation to activate, so she punches people, but the demon clan in fusion realm can't touch her at all. The 8th rank formation was only fully revealed by her at this time, and only 1/3 of the power of the formation was used to kill the more than 10 Tianyuan realm powerhouses before. Lum Wan trapped the fusion realm powerhouse and forced him to be very embarrassed. That person was unable to break through the restrictions of the formation to kill or seriously injure Lum Wan, but was injured by her punches, and even a rib was broken. His eyes were full of haze, and he cursed the great saint again in his heart. Such a violent and powerful woman is not the weak little grasshopper mentioned in the communication. On the strength of the body, this young woman can be beautiful with the demon Jiu of fusion realm. One Fuhal master alone had an advantage against another person, and he completely killed him without using his trump card, and then also killed the demon who was trapped by Lum Wan. The corpses of the two fusion realm powerhouses naturally cannot be wasted, and the blood are excited to drag them away. Of course, he did not take away the space rings of the two fusion realm and 17 Tianyuan realm demons, which was ordered by Lum Wan. Shue found the space ring and put it in Lum Wan's hand, and then got into the bell space with the food. Lum Wan turned to Wan Hall Master and others and said with a smile, "Let's divide the spoils." The group was still unable to recover from her powerful combat power for a long time, and they couldn't help but twitch the corners of their mouths when they heard her say with such a wide-eyed smile about sharing the spoils. Why do they think that today's anti-robbery thing Lum Wan seems to be familiar with, as if he has done it many times? However, she re-evaluated her strength and temperament in her heart. If it were them, they would never have thought of leaving and beheading the two merging robbers, but she was extremely resolute and determined, and used the advantages of the formation to not only trap people, but also beat them wildly. With the help of the 8th rank formation, the sword masters under the Tianyuan realm were absolutely crushed by her. Now they have only one deepest feeling in their hearts. It turns out that this beautiful and flamboyant junior sister is so violent. My evil imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 724. Deputy Hall Master Wan smiled helplessly when he heard Lum Wan asking them to share the spoils. Everyone has a share in killing them just now, and their space ring naturally has a share. Lum Wan saw that the group of people had different expressions, but they were all awkward or embarrassed. She continued to speak with a smile. These core disciples of the mercenary union have always been trained by the Central Hall, and they have never done such a thing of anti-robbery and dividing up the spoils, but they are not disgusted in their hearts. If those people don't die, the spoils that are being divided up now are probably theirs. Lum Wan has always been more principled in his work and will not be greedy for the things in the space ring, so he took out all the things in the rings of the 17 Tianyuan realm demons and divided them into 16 parts. And the two fusion-level powerhouses were killed by her and the Deputy Hall Master, but the main force was still the Deputy Hall Master, so she took 1/3 and gave the other 2/3. She and these brothers and sisters were just casual acquaintances, and they didn't participate in the final kill, so they didn't follow the division of the two. But everyone knows that although the things in the fusion realm powerhouse ring are very precious, they are not insatiable people, and being able to share the space ring of the 17 people is also a big gain. Many things of the two fusion realm demons were useful to the Deputy Hall Master. He rejected it. Lum Wan still insisted that he was not polite anymore, and his favor for her increased a lot. After cleaning up the battlefield, the group flew towards the headquarters of the Mercenary Union in Dapen. After this incident, the other disciples were obviously a little closer to Lum Wan's attitude. "Do you think those people are really here to rob?" Deputy Hall Master Wan asked while looking at the disciples. An older-looking man said, "I didn't look at them as if they were robbers, but they looked like they were coming for us." "I have this feeling too," another disciple said, "they seem to be aiming to kill us." Those people were murderous, more like killers than robbers. Lum Wan knew that none of the people present, including the Vice Palace Master Wan, found out that the other party was a demon, so she naturally couldn't reveal it. Although those demons were extremely careful when they came to the human realm, they could magically fight when their lives were in danger. However, Lum Wan had been prepared for a long time, and used the suppression method of Jun Luokan sect to integrate into the 8th rank formation, so as long as the space shrouded in the formation, the people of the demon race would not be able to be demonized at all. If the upper echelons of the demon race knew that Jun Luokan was helping the sword masters in the human domain to deal with them, and exposed many of the demon race's weaknesses and old foundations, it would have been maddened. "I will report this matter to the Hall Master and the Guild President. Don't spread it out." One Hall Master thought for a while and said, "Yes." Hall Master Wan took out several communication talismans to inspire them, and he wanted to know if other forces had been attacked. The news also made him silent for a long time, and he had to pay attention, because the other forces were not ambushed, those people were only targeting their mercenary union. A day later, the group returned to the central hall of the Mercenary Union headquarters. "You all go back to rest and digest the results in the comprehension tower," one Deputy Hall Master ordered. "Yes." After Lum Wan returned to her residence, the housekeeper reported to her the situation of the palace in the past year, and nothing happened. She just entered the room to rest, and the housekeeper knocked on the door again. "What's the matter?" Lum Wan knew that her housekeeper would not be rash. Luo Fei smiled respectfully and said, "There are 2 elders in the central hall who want to visit the young lady, and they have come many times before." "The elders of the central hall," Lum Wan paused and said, "please ask them to go to the main hall, I will come right away." When Lum Yandao was in the main hall, he saw 2 mentally strong old men looking at her with smiles, as if they had been staring at the meat for a long time. "I don't know why the 2 seniors came to find the juniors," Lum Wan asked with a light smile, sitting opposite the 2 of them. "Little girl, did you set up the 8th grade spirit gathering array outside the palace?" one of the fat old men asked with a smile. Lum Wan nodded in thought, "I arranged it." "Little girl, your formation skills are too strong," another thin old man asked with a smile. "This time you should have realized that you are above the 8th floor in the formation comprehension tower." Lum Wan smiled modestly, "Senior is wrong." She didn't want to tell the news that she broke through to the 10th floor of the comprehension tower, so she didn't answer and indirectly spared the past. Both of them are human beings, and they no longer ask about the comprehension tower. "Little girl, the 2 of us are the elders of the left and right deacons of the central hall, and both are high-ranking 8th rank array masters. We are very interested in your spirit gathering array. Do you think you can take some time to discuss with us?" Fatty the old man asked with a kind smile. "We will also give the reward that should be given," the thin old man said. "Of course, if you are not interested, you can refuse us." Lum Wan thought for a while and then smiled, "I can discuss with the 2 seniors, but the 2 of you need to do me a favor." "What are you busy with?" the fat old man asked. "They should pay some value to study Lum Wan's spirit gathering array, as long as she doesn't open her mouth. I just want to refine 3 sets of spirit gathering arrays to arrange for the 3 senior brothers, but I have been busy recently, and the time is very tight." Lum Wan paused and said, "That's why I want to set up the demonstration in front of the 2 seniors, but the remaining 2 seniors' spirit gathering array can only be troubled by the 2 of them." "This is absolutely no problem," the fat and thin old man said in unison with a smile. "This little girl is really good," and both of them thought that if she satisfied them, she would definitely pay her. "Then I have refined the array and invited the 2 seniors to come over," Lum Wan asked with a smile. The fat old man smiled and said, "Little girl, you need an 8th grade weapon refiner to refine the array. Can you refine it?" "Yes. If you can't make it, we can help you," said the thin old man. "They are all 8th rank artifact refiners, and they can definitely help. The most important thing is that even if they watch Lum Wan set up the formation, but they don't know what the formation needs, it will be a waste of effort. Of course, they will not force Lum Wan, but they have been addicted to the formation for so many years, and they are really curious about her spirit gathering formation." "Well, I've just been promoted to the 8th rank artifact refiner, and I can barely refine the 8th rank array," Lum Wan said with a smile, "but if the 2 seniors want to give advice, you can stay and have a look together." She guessed that if Anyukian and the 3 of them were arranged with a spirit gathering formation, other core disciples might also come to her, and even the high-level executives of the Mercenary Trade Union Central Hall might come to her. She doesn't like trouble, and she's really pressed for time, so she can get away after letting the 2 deacon elders learn. She has benefited a lot from the comprehension tower, and an 8th grade spirit gathering formation diagram can be regarded as a reward for the mercenary union. "My evil imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant." Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 725. Lum Wan was not too long-winded. She had almost rested on Daipen, so she directly invited the 2 elders into the refining room. She took out one of the 3 8th grade materials for the spirit gathering array, and threw it into the colorful glazed cauldron to refine it. The two elders, one fat and one thin, were originally 8th rank senior craft refiners, so they could understand her every step. Looking at her dedicated refining equipment, the two gradually became addicted, and occasionally praised a few words. Wonderful, wonderful, it turns out that deep sea ice crystals can be refined like this. The girl's ability to control fire is so precise, it's really powerful. Okay, very good, it blends so perfectly. Loom Wan is also quite talented in refining, but she prefers formations and alchemy. After listening to the words of the hall master that day, she also felt that she could not relax and slack off the refining, so she persevered even if it was very difficult to comprehend in the refining comprehension tower. After reaching the 8th floor, every time the image appears is the refining method and process of a magic weapon. After the demonstration is completed, the refining materials will automatically appear in the space, and it is infinite. She needs to use these refining materials to refine magical instruments of the same level and quality to pass the level. Of course, the level of the magic weapon that needs to be refined will not exceed the 8th grade advanced level, and it will be determined according to the level of the person who comprehends it, but the refinement of each magic weapon will incorporate the mystery and true meaning of many elements, and even involve array. She has benefited a lot from it, and the 8th grade magic tools refined in the comprehension tower are like countless crucian carp crossing the river. Now her real strength is the 8th grade advanced level of 5 techniques. Therefore, refining such an array is very simple for her, and each array can be refined to perfection. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the two old monsters who have been practicing magic tools for thousands of years to praise them again and again, and the color of admiration in their eyes gradually turned into respect. After the refining of a set of array equipment was completed, they no longer regarded Loom Wan as a junior, but placed it in the same position. Do the two seniors want to take a day off to see my formation, or go now? Loom Wan's mental strength is very strong, and after refining a set of formations, the impact is not great. The fat old man said with a smile, "Little girl, since you are still in good spirits, why don't you go and arrange the formation together today?" Seeing that the 8th grade arrays made by Loom Wan were complex and varied, they couldn't help but want to watch her make the array, otherwise they would not be able to sleep tonight. Okay, I'll send a message to the 3 senior brothers. I'll go over now. Loom Wan also wanted to finish it all at once. When the 3 arrived at Anyukian's palace, many of the core disciples also received news that Loom Wan and the 2 left and right deacons were going to set up a spirit gathering array, and they all walked out of their respective palaces, not even those who were retreating. Exception. In particular, the disciples who were originally array masters hurried away like a chicken blood, for fear that they would not be able to see it if they were late. After receiving the news, many high-level officials of the Central Hall also became interested and came to watch. Loom Wan didn't want to hide it either, so he publicly offered a set of more than 100 arrays one by one. Of course, the spirit stone was given by Anyukian to maintain the formation. Her spirit gathering array also has the biggest advantage. The spirit stones only need to be spread out and placed once. After running, the array will replenish the array with a steady stream of spiritual chi, and the consumption is very small. If an 8th rank spirit gathering array works well, the spirit stones that maintain the array can be replaced for hundreds of years. The 2 elders were amazed while watching her set up the formation, and the other high-level officials and disciples' eyes changed when they heard about Loom Wan. This kind of formation is too unbelievable. Not only can it condense the spiritual energy several times, it does not affect the spiritual energy of other people's palaces around it, but it also has the effect of saving spiritual stones, which is everyone's desire. Loom Wan's formation skills are above the refining equipment, and coupled with the comprehension of the comprehension tower, he could have completed the arrangement of the spirit gathering formation very quickly. It can be seen that so many people are watching, so he slowed down a bit so that some formation masters can be watched carefully. She is not a stingy person about what she has learned. She is given a chance. Whether or not she can benefit from her formation depends on her personal destiny. After arranging the 8th grade Spirit Gathering array, Loom Wan handed over the other 2 arrays to the fat and thin 2 deacon elders, and said hello to Enyukian and the others before leaving. For her Loki, Enyukian and others were also quite helpless, but the more they wanted to be Loki, the more they couldn't help it. When the 2 elders, fat and thin, set up the 8th grade Spirit Gathering formation for Xia Yexuan and Chu 11, the entire central hall was shocked. Many people came to ask Loom Wan in person, but got a unified answer. She is in retreat. She has already taught 2 elders in the 8th rank Spirit Gathering array. If this is the case, you can go directly to the 2 elders. As a result, there are many more people visiting the residence of the fat and thin old people every day, and even other major forces have many high-level visits after hearing about it. The president and the hall master also instructed the 2 of them to contribute more to the central hall, so they sadly began to form formations for the disciples who could provide materials for the central hall. Little Fox. The 2 of them were completely used by her as a spear. However, they were only jokingly scolding. The 2 of them liked Loom Wan, the formation genius, very much, otherwise they would not have worked hard to help the core disciples of the central hall to form formations. After another month, the turmoil of the 8th rank Spirit Gathering array gradually calmed down, but the Loom Wan Mercenary Union and even the Zhongzhou continent were even more famous. On this day, she received a message from the Palace Master just after cultivating a set of secret techniques of sword formation. Loom Wan did not hesitate and went directly to the 3rd floor of the central hall. Palace Master, are you looking for me? Hall Master Rong already knew about Loom Wan's performance in the Comprehension Tower, and was very proud. The girl is here, he stood up and said with a smile, go to a place with me. Going to a place? Loom Wan asked curiously, blinking her eyes. Yes, go to a place where you can reap great opportunities. Palace Master Rong smiled and said no more. Loom Wan couldn't guess in her heart what big chance she would get, but she followed obediently. The 2 got on the flying instrument of the Rong Hall Master, and used the teleportation array 3 times, and finally came to a mountain top with strong fragrance of birds and flowers. There is a stone house on the top of the mountain, which looks ordinary and simple. You come in with me, and you must be respectful to the seniors inside. Rong Palace Master reminded cautiously. Loom Wan nodded, okay. After entering the stone house, Loom Wan found 10 people sitting inside. In addition to the presidents of the 5 major forces, Tower Masters, Pavilion Masters, and Alliance Masters, there were also 5 old men with introverted breath and unfathomable strength. Meet the 5 ancestors. The Rong Hall Master respectfully saluted the 5 people above. Loom Wan followed and greeted him calmly. The ancestor of the Mercenary Union smiled and said, this little girl has a good temperament, she is calm and reserved, neither arrogant nor impetuous, she is a good seedling. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My evil imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant. Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 726. Loom Wan kept a well-behaved smile on her face as she quietly listened to a few people talking. An old man in white, who looked like a fairy, looked at Loom Wan lightly and said, little girl, you have broken through the 10th floor of the pagoda comprehension pagoda. Now the alchemy technique has improved a lot. Reporting to the seniors, my current alchemy has just reached the 8th grade advanced level. Loom Wan did not hide it. Hearing her words, the eyes of everyone present showed a strange look. Such talent and speed are really unbelievable. What about your formation? Have you reached the 8th grade advanced level? The ancestor of the Formation Alliance asked. I heard that you got an 8th grade spirit gathering formation in the Mercenary Union, is there any such thing? Well, the formation is also advanced to the 8th rank. Lum Wen nodded and said truthfully, I was able to arrange the 8th grade spirit gathering array before I entered the tower. Are you selling the array diagram of your spirit gathering array? Asked the leader of the Array Alliance. Lum Wen was slightly surprised. She did not answer directly, but turned her attention to the ancestor of the Mercenary Union. She actually doesn't care about the 8th rank spirit gathering formation. After breaking through to the 10th floor in the Array Comprehension Tower, she realized a more wonderful 9th rank gathering array. As long as she is promoted to 9th rank, you can try to arrange it. Therefore, the current 8th grade spirit gathering array is a bit tasteless to her, and it would be good if it could be sold at a good price. The ancestor of the Mercenary Trade Union had another layer of love for Lum Wen, and there were not many talented disciples who knew how to be flexible. Although there will be many competitions within our 5 major forces, they are more united to advance and retreat together. The ancestor of the Mercenary Union looked at Lum Wen and continued, there will be major events in the future. If the 8th rank spirit gathering formation does not involve any secrets, you can sell it to them. He emphasized the word sell. Naturally he didn't want Lum Wen to suffer. In fact, if Lum Wen hadn't taught the fat and thin elders how to arrange the spirit gathering array, and tacitly allowed them to arrange for the core disciples in the meeting, he would not have said such a thing. He could see that Lum Wen didn't pay much attention to the 8th grade spirit gathering formation chart. Although the 5 major forces share the same hatred, this is Lum Wen's thing after all, and they will not force her. I'm willing to sell it, Lum Wen said with a generous smile without being hypocritical. Afterwards, the senior leaders of the other 4 major forces showed smiles. With Lum Wen's spirit gathering array, the strength of the core disciples can be greatly enhanced, and it is more likely to protect themselves when they go to the battlefield outside the territory. Little girl Lu, what kind of reward do you want? Said the old man in white who spoke first. Spirit stones, alchemy, spirit grass, and spirit fruit for brewing spirit wine, and materials for refining talismans and utensils are all fine. Lum Wen thought for a while and said. After reaching the 8th rank, the spirit grass and materials she needs are rarely available outside, and the high-grade spirit stones are even more difficult to obtain, so she will extort a sum of money through the array diagram of the spirit gathering array today. What level do you want for Lingxi? The leader of the Formation Alliance said. High-grade spirit stone, Lum Wen replied. After the Scarlet Emperor breaks through to the Earth Origin realm, the amount of spirit stones required is very huge. If there are high-grade spirit stones and 8-rank medicinal pills for consumption, I believe that they will soon be able to hit the Heaven Origin realm, and the strength of the Scarlet Bee Legion will also be improved. A big chunk. Okay, we will discuss a reward for each of the 4 companies to give you a share, the leader of the Array Alliance said. Lum Wen's 8th grade spirit gathering array diagram is very precious, and they will not treat her badly. Then I would like to thank the seniors. Lum Wen accepted with a smile. Several people were very satisfied with her down-to-earth attitude. Little girl, it's not just about the formation plan that we called you today, the ancestor of the Mercenary Union asked. Have you heard of the extraterritorial battlefield? I heard about it, Lum Wen nodded. When she was in the Feng family, she had heard it from the ancestors of the Feng family and Mingxiu. The extraterritorial battlefield is to randomly transfer the entire Guangling world under the age of 100 years to the Earth Origin realm and Tianyuan realm, or the talented younger generation with strengths of these 2 levels. No one in the entire Guangling world can change, so this is a crisis and an opportunity, which also involves the future resources and development of our Guangling world's 4-domain ethnic group. The 5 of us decided to guide several of the best disciples selected by the 5 major forces to cultivate together before the opening of the extraterritorial battlefield. I hope you can support each other and bring back the disciples who were sent to the extraterritorial battlefield with our 5 forces. And your performance in the Comprehension Tower is very good. You are also the target of our focus this time. Whether it is cultivation techniques or resources, we can provide you as long as you need it, but you have to accept a test. Lum Wan knew that there was no free lunch in the world, so she could accept it with more peace of mind when she asked her. Senior, please let me know. In another month, the Kanglan Secret Realm, a large-scale secret realm under the jurisdiction of human territory, will be opened. Our 5 major forces will take 5 tokens and send them to the disciples you have selected to focus on training and some other selected disciples to experience. And each of you will be assigned a task. You need to take certain things from the Kanglan Secret Realm. As long as you wait for it to be completed, you will be eligible for us to focus on training. Talented geniuses have given birth to countless people in the entire Guangling world, but in the end too few can become a powerful one. What they need are disciples who are very talented and adaptable, so if Lum Wan fails the assessment, they can only regret it, but they will not make an exception for her. Lum Wan is an all-rounder of the 5 arts, and the other disciples they selected are also the trump cards for the 5 major forces to secretly cultivate and focus on training to enter the extraterritorial battlefield, which are very important for the 5 major forces. I am willing to accept assessments and tasks. Lum Wan showed some interest in his eyes. She likes to pay the price to get the cultivation resources. Although the responsibilities on her shoulders will be heavier in the future, the more challenging things she likes to do. Very good, then you are ready to enter the Kanglan Secret Realm in a month. When the time comes, we will arrange for a few of you to meet the ancestor of the mercenary union. Added another sentence. Yes, Lum Wan thought for a while and asked, Ancestor, apart from the disciples of our 5 major forces, are there other forces who entered the secret realm of Kanglan? Naturally, the major forces in the human domain will send disciples to enter as long as they take pictures of the secret realm token, and there will be many people at that time. However, the tokens are limited, so in the end, most of the people who can enter the Kanglan secret realm are relatively powerful families or forces in the major states of the human territory. At that time, you must not only beware of the dangers that appear in the secret realm, but also beware of other people. Fighting in the secret realm is allowed, so perhaps the most dangerous are unfamiliar people. I understand, Lum Wan replied with a smile. All major forces will enter, so Mingxiu will also enter the secret realm of Kanglan. My evil imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant. Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 727. Half an hour later, Lum Wan returned to the mercenary union with Ronghal Master. Palace Master, the token needed to enter the Kanglan secret realm is auctioned. She was a little strange when she heard the ancestor of the mercenary union say this before, but she didn't ask it at the time. Rong Liao explained with a smile, there are countless secret realms in the 4 regions of the Guangling realm, but many of them can only be places where high-level powers explore and seek opportunities, and a very small part of the great secret realms will serve as the trial grounds for the disciples of the major forces. The Kanglan secret realm is one place. Everyone under the fusion environment can enter, but they need to hold the tokens of the 5 attributes of gold, wood, water, fire, and earth to enter. Each token can carry 6 people to enter. And the tokens of the Kanglan secret realm are randomly generated, and will be scattered in different places, and occasionally scattered in the small interface, but most of them will be collected by the dark market, and finally auctioned at the trade fair held in the dark market. What if you can't collect it? Lum Wan continued to ask. Under normal circumstances, more than 2/3 of the tokens can be collected, and the dark market's methods are extraordinary. Rong paused and said, if the other tokens that are not collected are generally not in the hands of people who don't know their purpose, they are wasted, or the people who get the tokens don't want to take them out and trade, and they will bring 6 people in the end. Look for opportunities. So it is. Lum Wan nodded. The sword masters of the Kanglan secret realm fusion realm cannot enter, but there are many crises lurking there. Many people from the Tianyuan realm fall in, so you must be careful after entering. Rong Liao said with a smile, but danger also represents opportunity. Although the Kanglan secret realm has been opened 100 times, there are still quite a few treasures inside. Then there should be very few good things left. Lum Wan raised her eyebrows and said with a smile. That's natural, and it's unavoidable. Rong Liao said, but don't worry, the Kanglan secret realm is only opened once every 1,000 years, and there will be a lot of spiritual things or treasures derived from the periphery. It will be a great harvest. Is the central area of Kanglan secret realm dangerous? Lum Wan's eyes radiated a ray of light. Rong Liao replied, it's very dangerous, even the strong ones in the fusion realm may not be able to pass safely and smoothly to the central area. Of course, there are also many lucky people who will go deep into the central area by accident, and successfully get a lot of treasures out, but there are very few such examples, he added. Well, I see. After returning to the mercenary union, Lum Wan did not retreat immediately. Enyukian and the three brought her to familiarize themselves with the mercenary union. She checked a lot of information about the secret realm of Kanglan in the mercenary union's encrypted bookstore. 3 days later, the 4 major forces sent the rewards for buying the spirit gathering formation, and Lum Wan closed the palace and began to retreat. This time, she was mainly refining talismans and formation balls. The secret realm of Kanglan was very dangerous, and the sword masters of the major forces who entered the human realm often fought for a spiritual thing. It is better for her to make more self-defense things. After refining a large number of talismans and magic balls, she refined a batch of 8th grade medicinal herbs for consumption by several spiritual pets. Time flies, and a month later, Lum Wan received a message from the palace master Rong. When she got to the 3rd floor, there were still 5 people standing inside, including Enyukian and Xia Xuanyi, as well as a woman and 2 men she had never seen before. Lu girl is here. Rong Hall's attitude towards Lum Wan was relatively easygoing. He smiled and said, this time, the mercenary union will be entered by the 6 of you into the secret realm of Kanglan. Come and meet the next 3 brothers and sisters. It is good. This is senior brother Yanjing, this is senior sister Lu Li, and this is senior brother Tang Guang. Enyukian introduced the 3 people around Lum Wan to Lum Wan with a gesture from Hall Master Rong. Lum Wan greeted with a gentle smile, hello, senior brother Yan, senior sister Lu, senior brother Tang. Hello, junior sister. The 3 of them gave her a friendly smile. You are all the 6 disciples that our mercenary trade union focuses on training. This time, we must unite as one, and there will be times when you will fight side by side in the future. The disciple will definitely not live up to the expectations of the hall master, several people said at the same time. Xia Yexuan looked around and asked curiously, Palace Master, it's not like we entered the secret realm of Kanglan with another group of disciples from the trade union, what about them? Hall Master Rong sighed helplessly, I don't know why this time, the tokens collected in the dark market are only more than half of the usual ones, and there are few porridges and many people. Our 5 major forces have only auctioned 1. It's not that they can't afford the auction fees, and each time the Kanglan continent opens in Zhongzhou, there is an unspoken rule that top forces and first-class families must enter, so they can't grab the opportunity of the big family. 1 token can only bring 6 people there, so only the 6 people who are the most important to cultivate can be selected. So that's the case. Xia Yexuan pouted and said, wouldn't it be that there will be many strange faces this time? The tokens that were not collected in the dark market were generally hidden by others. If it wasn't for the power of Zhongzhou, then they must be unfamiliar. That's why you all have to be more careful this time. Every time there are geniuses who fall into the mysterious realm of Kanglan, there are countless wrong. Palace Master said. We'll be careful. This time, the Hall Master will take you to the meeting, and we will set off tomorrow. Palace Master Rong thought for a while and reminded, the secret realm of Kanglan belongs to the secret realm controlled by the human realm for hundreds of thousands of years, so every time the disciples enter, many of the powerhouses from the major forces in the human realm will gather together to pass the secret projection. Watch your performance in the secret realm. Only by entering certain areas can you block their prying eyes. If you are not secretive, show your strength and perform well. If it is inconvenient, find a special area to act. If you encounter someone who takes the initiative to kill you, you don't have to worry about it, you can kill it if you should, and we will take care of it by our mercenary union. Of course, you can't take the initiative to provoke and kill others. Although cultivators are sometimes not bound by the rules of the world, they must be worthy of their own hearts, otherwise the killing will be too heavy and cause karma. A lot of resistance, he reminded. The disciple understands. Several people are not cruel people who take pleasure in killing. As long as others don't take the initiative to provoke them, they can't breed trouble. Okay, you all go down, Rong Hall said with a wave of his hand. After a few people retreated, the figure of President Wu appeared in the room. President Rong Liao respectfully looked at the red-haired man and shouted. Is everyone ready? President Wu said with deep eyes. It's already arranged, but I didn't tell them that the trade union has placed experts in several noble families to protect them secretly, Rong Liao said. You're right, you don't need to let them know about such things, otherwise it's not good for them to be lucky and dependent, President Wu said lightly. Except for Lum Wan, the other 5 are all masters secretly cultivated by the mercenary union over the years. They have their own secret methods and abilities, but they have not yet been exposed. My evil imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant. Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 728. Early the next morning, Hall Master Wan took Lum Wan and the others to a mountaintop with thin spiritual energy in the central hall. There is no fixed entrance to the Kanglan secret realm. When the time is up, the token will automatically send you in randomly. The Hall Master handed a green token to Enyukian and said, this is a transmission token, you can keep it. Enyukian was designated as the captain of the 6 by the president, and it was a matter of course for him to keep the token. Lum Wan turned his gaze to the token in Enyukian's hand, and his eyes narrowed slightly. The wood element on this green token is very rich. The most important thing is that no matter the pattern on it or the size of the token, it is actually the same as the red gold token and red fire order she once obtained in the Tianling continent competition space. The cards are the same. At this time, there was only 1 stick of incense before the secret realm opened. Even if she took out the 2 tokens, she could not summon the disciples to enter. She rolled her eyes and decided not to say anything. Otherwise, the top management of the trade union might even blame her for hiding and tucking her away, which would be self-defeating. The main reason is that she did not expect that the token that was thrown into the space ring and was about to be covered in dust was actually the token to open the secret realm of Kanglan in the Guangling world. Hall Master Rong said the other day that the tokens might be scattered on the small interface, but the possibility of appearing is extremely small, and such a small chance was unexpectedly encountered by her. She pondered for a moment, and looked away from the green token. She always felt that the token was not so simple. After a stick of incense, the token in Enyukian's hand flashed a layer of green light and instantly wrapped the 6 of Lum Wan and disappeared in place. Wan Deputy Hall Master looked at the empty top of the mountain and wished them good luck in his heart. Lum Wan only felt that it was dark in front of them. They seemed to have passed through a space tunnel and landed on the ground after a long time. The light in front of them was very dazzling. After standing still, the 6 people looked around. This was a forest. The surrounding trees were all covered in silver, and each tree radiated a dazzling silver light, which made several people's eyes uncomfortable. The surrounding temperature is so low that almost nothing alive can be seen. This is the frozen forest, and Yukian frowned unconsciously. They all knew about the Kanglan secret realm before they came, and the teleportation was random. But if you're unlucky, you might be stuck somewhere and can't get out. However, it has not yet happened that one encounters a dangerous death as soon as it is introduced into the secret realm. This is the rule of the Kanglan secret realm. Although the places where everyone teleports are not too far from each other, luck really matters. Our luck is too bad. Xiaoxuanyi was speechless when he saw the silver light all around him. According to the information obtained by the Mercenary Trade Union, there is a natural barrier in frozen forest, and it is estimated that it is a high rank 8th grade. As long as it is spread here, at least more than half of the people will be trapped and unable to move forward. When the Kanglan secret realm is closed, it will be spread out without doing anything. What should I do now? The natural barrier here is a high rank 8th rank prohibition, Tang Guang said with a frown. Xiaoxuanyi was more optimistic. His wild and handsome face still had a smile on his face. You forgot, there is still a master of formation restraint among us. Immediately, he turned his attention to Lum Wan. And Yukian also knew Lum Wan's ability, so he showed a calm expression. Tang Guang and the others had heard of Lum Wan's reputation, but they were not so confident that she could break the ban. The five looked at Lum Wan in a daze, wanting to hear if she could break the ban. Lum Wan didn't answer immediately. Instead she took out the natal array to look around, and then she frowned deeply. This is a chain ban, and it is difficult for me to break it alone. She looked up at Tang Guang and the three of them and asked, are there any magicians among you? All three smiled bitterly, neither of us. Lum Wan sighed, their luck is really bad, but she is not easy to give up. So she took the array and began to look for a breakthrough in the ban. About half an hour later, footsteps sounded. And Yukian and his party looked vigilantly in that direction, and soon a group of people appeared in front of them. It's from the Lan family. Xia Yexuan's smile faded a little after seeing the person coming. He knew that Lum Wan was in conflict with the Lan family. When the Lan family saw Lum Wan and his party, they were surprised. They didn't expect the mercenary union to be just as unlucky as they were. The leader of the Lan family was not Lan Ruoshui, but a handsome and elegant man in blue brocade clothes. Lan Ruoshui is famous in Zhongzhou city, but he is not as good as this person. He is the real most outstanding genius among the younger generation of the Lan family, Lan Yanhuan, Lan Ruoshui's cousin. It turned out to be a friend of the mercenary union. Lan Yanhuan showed a smile like a spring breeze on his face, and greeted a few people. Yanjing, Lu Li have been gone for a long time. I didn't expect you to be so unlucky. Yanjing hooked his lips, apparently acquainted with Lan Yanhuan. Lan Yanhuan shrugged helplessly and said, yeah. As soon as it is sent in, it will fall into the forest. We are all unlucky enough. He is the only one of them, and it is difficult for him to break the chain of restrictions with his own strength, so he took the family to search around the forest to see if he could find the unfortunate union that was also passed here. Break the ban. By the way, I remember Lan Yanhuan, you are a magician, right? Lu Li asked with a smile, do you know the method of cracking? Lum Wan did not speak, and looked at the group silently. No matter in the mortal world or the world where strength is respected, there are no permanent enemies and friends. She and the Lan family have a grudge, but it is not your life or death. If Lan Yanhuan is a magician, she can cooperate, otherwise it will take at least 10 days for her to break the ban alone. Before they set off, each of them was assigned the task of searching for spiritual things, and time could not be wasted. That's right. This restriction requires at least 2 8th rank array mages to crack. Among us, only I am an 8th rank array master, so I can't do anything for the time being. While the few people were talking, footsteps came again, and when they got closer, they saw that they were Danta's disciples. The disciples of Danta were naturally very happy to see the disciples of the mercenary union. The disciples of the 5 major forces who entered the Kanglan secret realm were all instructed to greet each other and cooperate with each other. In the future, they will all be companions when they enter the battlefield outside the territory. It's you. The 3 groups chatted for a while, and the disciples of Danta heard that at least 2 8th rank array mages were required to smile bitterly. Yanjing, Do you have any array masters? Even the 7th rank will do. Lan Yanhuan knew that Dante's disciples couldn't help, so he could only look at the mercenary union with a little expectation. During the time when Lum Wen was participating in the alchemy competition, Lan Yanhuan was sent to a small secret realm by the senior management of the Lan family to practice. He only came out in the last few days, so he didn't know about Lum Wen, let alone her. Yes. Junior sister Lu is an 8th rank array master, Yanjing said with a smile. She said just now that she would need 2 array masters to break the ban, but I didn't expect you to come. Lan Yanhuan followed Yanjing's gaze, and saw a stunning woman in a red dress standing there calmly and quietly. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My evil imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant. Author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 729. Lum Wen stood there indifferently and quietly, with a slight smile on his face. Lan Yanhuan just shook her head, and immediately smiled. Miss Lu is an 8th rank array mage. Yeah, Lum Wen nodded lightly. Except for Lan Yanhuan, everyone in the Lan family had different expressions. The news that Lum Wen had set up an 8th grade spirit gathering formation in the mercenary union had already spread in Zhongzhou city, but they didn't really believe it. Why don't we cooperate? Lan Yanhuan and Yanjing had experienced together, and he believed that the other party could not deceive him with such a thing. Lum Wen smiled indifferently. Okay. Does Miss Lu have a solution? Lan Yanhuan glanced at the array plate in her hand. You must have seen it. This is a chain ban, and the fastest way to break it is to break the ban at the same time from the weaker places in the east and west of the ban, Lum Wen said truthfully. Lan Yanhuan's eyes showed a bit of playfulness. Miss Lu is really amazing, she can see the direction of the breaking formation in such a short time. Lum Wen said lightly, you choose a position yourself. It's alright, why don't you choose first? Lan Yanhuan said. Then I'll take care of you. Lum Wen was too lazy to talk to him. Do you need to prepare anything else? If you're ready, let's start. Lan Yanhuan chuckled, no need to prepare, it's time to start. Lum Wen nodded, took the array plate and walked towards the confirmed position to the east, and then raised the natal array flag to break the ban. Lan Yanhuan saw Lum Wen's skillful movements, his eyes were as deep as an ancient well. He walked to the west position, took out the formation plate and several tools to break the ban, and began to concentrate on breaking the ban. After a stick of incense, there was a muffled sound from the eastern position where Lum Wen was located, and a layer of blue light circles were looming, which soon collapsed and disappeared in front of everyone's eyes along with the formation she placed. Tell me when you're okay, and I'll continue. She turned her head to see that Lan Yanhuan was still breaking the ban, and said. The fastest way to crack such a chain ban is to crack it at the same time. After one layer is cracked, the second one is cracked together, otherwise it will fail. Lan Yanhuan didn't expect Lum Wen's speed to be so fast, he replied, okay. As a result, the movement of the hand also accelerated a lot, and after a while, a layer of blue light also appeared in the west and then collapsed. The two began to crack the second layer of prohibition. Lan Yanhuan's formation is a very well-known genius among the younger generation, and he is only the second highest in Shangzhou after being overwhelmed by Mingxiu. Seeing that Lum Wen's formation ability is not weak at all, he also gave birth to a trace of victoriousness. The speed in his hands kept increasing, but he still fell behind Lum Wen every time. The others looked at the two of them breaking the formation, although they didn't understand it, they also felt that it was very subtle. The expressions in the eyes of the Lan family were extremely complicated. Lan Ruoshui, an outstanding young alchemist in Zhongzhou, publicly lost to Lum Wen in the alchemy competition. Now Lan Yanhuan, the genius of the formation, has to beat Lum Wen every time he breaks the ban, and is obviously weaker in the formation. Are the two most famous geniuses of the Lan family all going to lose to Lum Wan? Boom. 2 hours later, the entire frozen forest made several loud noises, and the silver-clad scene disappeared instantly. Everyone saw the green patches around and in front of them. The branches quickly sprout and the leaves grew up one by one, and the budding flowers bloomed together. The two rays of light flickered and fell on the hands of Lum Wan and Lan Yanhuan at the same time. The two didn't hesitate to grab the two rays of light and put them away. The others didn't see what it was at all, but they also guessed that this might be a reward for breaking the ban on frozen forest. It's amazing the people from Danta and the Mercenary Union couldn't help but sighed infinitely when they saw how quickly they broke through the high-ranking 8th rank restriction that had blocked countless geniuses from going their way. After breaking the ban, Lum Wan smiled lightly and said to Lan Yanhuan, "The ban has been broken, so let's leave first." She and the Lan family don't have much grudges, but the Feng family and the Lan family have had a long-standing grudge, and it's okay to cooperate for a common purpose, but it's impossible to make deep friendships, let alone become friends. There are many restrictions in Kanglin's secret realm. If Miss Lu and I work together, we can go far. Why not we continue to work together? Lan Yanhuan could see that Lum Wan's formation talent is not inferior to him at all, although in his heart it was a little complicated, but she was invited to work together. "Sorry, we still have something to do, we'll talk about it later," Lum Wan declined with a smile. Lan Yanhuan has a very deep heart, and looks elegant and personable, but she can't figure out who she is actually, and she doesn't want to get in touch with him more. And Yukian also knew some of the grievances between the Feng family and the Lan family. He stood up and said with a smile, "We still have a mission to go to a few places to find quest items. This time we can only miss the opportunity to cooperate." Lan Yanhuan's expression didn't change. She said with a smile, "It's okay, since you still have tasks to do, we won't bother." Immediately, he took the Lan family's people to leave first. After walking for a while, the smile on his face faded a lot. He looked at a disciple next to him and asked, "Do you know that person named Lum Wan?" That person immediately reiterated that Lum Wan was the daughter of Feng Yuixin of the Feng family, that she won the alchemy competition, and that she was the future concubine of the 9th prince. Lan Yanhuan squinted his eyes after listening, and there was a thick ink in his eyes that couldn't be opened. "The 9th prince attaches great importance to her?" he asked with lowered eyes. The man replied, "The 9th prince attaches great importance to Lum Wan, and he has said before that if the Lan family does not restrain themselves, the end will be the same as the Zhu family." Lan Yanhuan sneered, "He has such a big tone." The man lowered his head and did not answer. It was not a secret in the Lan family that Lan Yanhuan and Ming Xiu had conflicts. Both were the most famous talents in Zhongzhou, but Ming Xiu often overwhelmed Lan Yanhuan. Lan Ruoshui saw that Lan Yanhuan's eyes were a little more sullen, and there was ridicule on his lips, and he lowered his head, hiding the coldness in his eyes. After the Lan family left, and Yukian looked at Danta's disciples and said, "Are you going with us or alone?" The senior leaders of the 5 major forces have secretly agreed to cooperate and advance and retreat together after entering the Kanglin secret realm, in order to allow them to cooperate better and deepen their feelings after entering the outer battlefield in the future. "When we came, the Tower Master had ordered our 5 major forces to unite, so let's act together with you," Danta's leading disciple replied with a smile. "Okay," and Yukian and the others did not object. Yanjing, Luli, and Lan Yanhuan's friendship is very shallow. In their hearts, Lum Wan is more important, so they don't care about Lum Wan's rejection of the Lan family. "Wan, where do you think we should go better?" and Yukian asked Lum Wan. Lum Wan smiled and asked bluntly, "Me and Ming Xiu have agreed to meet together, but I don't know if you would mind being with the members of the Ming Palace royal family." She thought that the people from the Mercenary Union and Danta would not refuse. "I don't mind, with the participation of the 9th prince, we will be more confident in completing those tasks," and Yukian replied with a smile. Others have no objection. It is well known that Ming Xiu is an 8th rank senior formation mage. If he joins forces with Lum Wian, they will not be too worried if they encounter any restrictions or formations. My evil Imperial wife is too arrogant, trash against the world, BlackBelly evil wife is too arrogant author, Lan by Gezi. Chapter 730. As soon as he entered the secret realm of Kanglan, Lum Wian asked Long Yao to investigate the aura of Ming Xiu. They are a contract of life, so even if Long Yao is far away, he can find the location of Ming Xiu. Mistress, Ming Xiu is about 2 hours away from you in the south. Long Yao's voice came from not far away, and Lum Wian said to Anyukian and the others, let's go to the south, and they will be there. It is good. People from the Mercenary Union and Danta all know about Lum Wian's relationship with Ming Xiu. Although she is curious about her position, she feels it is right. When the group was on their way, Mo Yan on Lum Wian's shoulder exuded a kind of royal pressure that only monsters could feel, so they were not ambushed by monsters. When they were about to approach the destination, everyone found that the fighting was fierce in front of them, so they quickened their pace. In front of it is an open flat field, and more than 20 human sword masters form a circle to fight against the waves of beasts that are desperately rushing up. The strength of each monster is not bad, the Dan Yuanjing and the Earth Yuanjing are the main ones, and there are several Tian Yuanjing demon cultivators who have transformed into humanoids not far away. How could they provoke such a big beast tide? One of Danta's disciples looked at the front with numbness in shock. This wave of high-level monsters consists of about 1,000 beasts, and there are more than 20 talents for the siege. Even if the cultivation base is strong, it is impossible to deal with so many monsters. If such a situation cannot break through the encirclement, there will only be a dead end. This is the same reason that ants kill elephants. The most dazzling among the more than 20 people was the man in red, who was handsome and unparalleled in temperament. However, due to the fact that other people's combat power could not be compared with him, and the monsters appeared to be inexhaustible, the more than 20 people fighting with the exception of the cultivators became more and more difficult. If Ming Xiu wanted to escape, it would be very easy, but he couldn't do it. His handsome face still had a kind of arrogant arrogance, calmly beheading the endless stream of monsters. Lum Wian frowned as he watched the surging tide of monsters, and when his mind moved, a ring of spirit beasts flew into the air. Buzz. Suddenly, groups of fog tides of different colors drilled out of the space ring and flew towards the group of monsters. After careful observation, you can find that this is actually a swarm of red bees with different attributes. Hundreds of thousands of red wasps the size of a bucket spewed out of the space ring with their sharp fangs, heading straight for the sky and covering the ground. What is that? The more than 20 people who were struggling to resist the monster tide were all stunned except for Ming Xiu. My God! It's a swarm of red bees. How come there is a swarm of red bees here? It's done, we're done. Are you going to die here? Those more than 20 people didn't know that the red bees were released by Lum Wian, they thought it was a new wave of beasts, and they all felt desperate. Ming Xiu saw the red bees appear, and his lips curled into an arc, and when he looked across the red bees, he saw the woman he loved. The speed of the red bee swarm was very fast, and it was all around in an instant. When the monster beasts were eaten to the extent that only bones were left, the people present and the monster cultivators were shocked. What's going on? The red bees are not besieging us, one person exclaimed. Could this be a swarm of red bees with owners? Soon everyone saw a stunning woman in red walking over, followed by more than a dozen people. The few demon cultivators standing not far away shrank their eyes. They obviously didn't expect a red bee queen from the Tianyuan realm to appear here. Retreat! The few demon cultivators turned around without hesitation and wanted to flee into the distance. However, after only a few steps out, he was surrounded by a few spirit pets of Long Yao and Lum Wian. Now, under the intensive training of medicinal pills, spirit stones, and Mo Yan provided by Lum Wian, Several spiritual pets have successively reached the Tianyuan realm before entering the Kanglan secret realm. You, as demon cultivators, were actually subdued by human swordsmen. It's really a shame for the demon cultivators. A big man who was intercepted snorted coldly. It doesn't matter whether we lose face or not, Long Yejun said coldly, but I know you are about to die. Kill. Soon the spirit pets and the demon cultivator who launched the beast swarm battled together. The beast horde that besieged Mingxiu and the others turned into food under the rapid assault of the red wasps, and many red bees also underwent changes in their bodies. Yan'er, you're here. Mingxiu's eyes were dyed with warm colors, and his voice was clear and magnetic. Lum Wan smiled like a flower, walked up to Mingxiu and put her lips close to his ear and said, "You are hiding your clumsiness." Mingxiu laughed softly, grabbed Lum Wan's waist and whispered in her ear, "Because I knew you would come to save my husband." His voice was sexy and restrained, magnetic and pleasant, and his breath fell gently on Lum Wan's ear, passing round and round, like a feather tickling her heart. Buzz. Several fist-sized red bees flew to Lum Wan's side and rubbed against her, and the other people watching couldn't help but twitch their mouths wildly. Is this still the ferocious and murderous red wasp just now? Why does it look as obedient as a little bee? Lum Wan stretched out his finger and poked the foreheads of a few red bees who came over, with a gentle expression. After that, many red bees also wanted to rub over to get close to Lum Wan, and they were crowding around one by one. Everyone saw this scene. The handsome and incomparable man in red hugged the stunning red-clothed woman with tenderness, and then the two were surrounded by many red bees with sharp fangs rubbing against the woman attentively and intimately. This style of painting is too strange. The level of red bees cultivated by the Red Emperor is getting higher and higher. Mingxiu smiled as he looked around at the dense circle of red bees. Well, now the Red Emperor has cultivated red bees from the Danyuan and Earth origin levels. Recently, there have been mutations that have spawned many leaders of the Heaven origin level. Even the powerhouses of the fusion level are enough to drink a pot. Lum Wan replied with a smile. Listening to the conversation between the two, and looking at the head of the heavenly origin realm red bees rubbing against Lum Wan, the people present only had a feeling of numbness in their scalps. Soon, the demon pets also turned the arrogant demon cultivators of the Tianyuan realm into bloody food. Lum Wan easily killed a high-level small beast horde without taking action. This kind of record made many people jealous. If they meet Lum Wan, they won't be eaten to the bone? Horrible. Mingxiu had dealt with the beast tide very easily before, and anyone with a discerning eye could see that he didn't do his best at all. When these two people got together, it was really what they wanted, and whoever encountered it would be unlucky. How did you encounter this kind of beast tide? Lum Wan felt a little strange. Under normal circumstances, it is impossible to encounter such a high-level beast tide outside the secret realm. The bottom of Mingxiu's eyes turned cold. Someone should have deliberately attracted it. When they came here by accident, they met people from two other families, and then they were surrounded by beasts together inexplicably. He felt that there could be such a coincidence.